Hey guys, today we are stepping through the rusted gates of Willowbrook Asylum, October 12th, 1923. Moonlight slices through barred windows as you crunch gravel underfoot, the air reeking of wet iron and decay. Somewhere above, a third-floor light flickers. A scream tears through the night, cut short. You freeze. That's when you feel it, the weight of hundreds of eyes watching from darkened windows. Don't look up. You probably won't survive what looks back. So, before listening to the story, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, drop a comment with your location and local time. Let's see who's braving this tale in the dead of night. The asylum's front doors groan as you push inside. Your lantern reveals peeling wallpaper bloated with mold, the floorboards sagging like rotten teeth. A draft snakes down your collar. Crunch. You pivot. A cockroach scuttles over a shattered medicine vial. But the sound continues. Methodical. Rhythmic. Scratching. Down the hall, a shadow spills from a cracked doorway. You press closer. Patient 37, restless tonight, mutters a nurse's voice behind you. You whirl, but the corridor's empty. The scratching grows frantic. Through the door's slit, you see him. A gaunt man hunched over a desk, charcoal clawing across paper. His lips move. 23 degrees, 47 minutes. Bloodroot north, ash east. As his hand spasms, mapping arcs and symbols that twist like entrails. A map of the asylum? No. The layout's wrong. Staircases lead into walls. Hallways not into spirals. A hand clamps your shoulder. Curiosity killed the night guard, rasps a man in a stained lab coat. Dr. Lennox, his name tag reads. His breath reeks of bourbon and fear. Elias Voss hasn't spoken a word in 6 years, just draws. He nods at the patient. You think these are delusions? He leans in, yellowed teeth bared. Then why do the walls bleed where he marks them? The lantern flickers. When it steadies, Elias is staring directly at you, eyes black as oil pits. His finger rises, trembling, toward the ceiling. A wet thud shakes the roof. Dust rains down. Dr. Lennox pales. He's summoning it again, he whispers. The thing that walks the attics. Somewhere above, something heavy begins to drag itself across the floorboards. Slow, wet, and hungry. Dr. Lennox's grip tightens as the dragging sound retreats into the attic's void. He shoves you down the hall, your shoes slipping on bile green tiles. 6 years ago, he hisses, they found Elias Voss barefoot in a wheat field, clutching a compass made of human teeth. The doctor's laughter is a dry cough. Farmers thought he was a war veteran, until he started correcting their land maps. You pass a padded cell. Inside, a woman rocks on her cot, chanting, "He draws the roads we'll walk when our skin forgets us." The asylum's records room stinks of mothballs and madness. Dr. Lennox slams a dossier on the table. Newspaper clippings spill out. Local surveyor vanishes following cartographic ritual, along with Elias's intake photo. His eyes are normal here, blue and bloodshot. But his hands, even in the grainy image, they're caked in dirt, nails split to the quick. First week here, he stole a groundskeeper's shovel, says Lennox. Dug up the rose garden. We thought it was psychosis, until we saw the hole. Your thumb brushes the photo's edge. Don't. Too late. The image shifts. Now Elias kneels in the pit, arms deep in soil, mouth stretched in a silent scream. The hole behind him isn't empty. Something pale and jointless writhes in the dark. Thud. The lantern swings. Shadows leap across a map pinned to the wall, Elias's earliest work. At first glance, it's Willowbrook Asylum. Then you see the extra wings, the stairwells descending 12 floors below ground. The courtyard's oak tree, labeled Gate. He kept demanding ink mixed with bone ash, Lennox mutters. When we refused, he sliced his palms. The doctor traces a brown stain on the map. Used his own blood to add this. You lean closer. There, in the sub-basement's heart, Elias has drawn a door marked home. A cold breath grazes your neck. You found my invitation. You spin. The room's empty. But the map is different. The door's label now reads hungry. The oak tree's roots snake across the paper, sinking into the margins. Your pulse thunders as the ink shimmers, wet and fresh. Lennox doesn't notice. He's fixated on a patient log. December 3rd, 1920, he reads. Orderly Hendricks confiscated Elias's latest map. That night, Hendricks, he swallows. He was found in the boiler room, his insides. You don't need details. The Polaroid tucked in the log says enough. A man's eviscerated corpse, arranged in a perfect circle. His intestines form a spiraling symbol, the same symbol etched into Elias's maps. The doctor slumps into a chair. We moved Elias to the East Wing, solitary confinement. But he didn't stop drawing. He opens a drawer. Parchment unfurls like a dead man's tongue. Dozens of maps spill out, each more deranged than the last. One charts the asylum's ventilation system as a constellation of screaming faces. Another plots the nurse's station as the center of a spiderweb, threads connecting to patient rooms labeled eggs. But the third map steals your breath. It's a blueprint of your hometown, your street, your house, your bedroom window, all annotated in Elias's spidery script. Beneath the floorboards, 7 steps west, knock twice. Your fingers tremble. You've never told anyone about the scratching under your floor as a child, the knocks that echoed back. You're beginning to see, whispers the woman from the padded cell, though she's nowhere in sight. Lennox grabs your wrist. They're not maps of places, he says. They're maps of moments, past, future, wrong. His thumb presses into your pulse. 3 days ago, Elias drew this. The final parchment feels alive, squirming in your grip. It depicts this exact room, you holding the map. Lennox, face contorted in panic. And behind you, towering past the rafters, a skeletal thing with too many elbows, its hand dissolving into smoke as it reaches for crash. The window shatters. Wind howls in, scattering the maps. Elias's latest sheet slaps against your chest. You peel it off, gasping. It's a map of the next 5 minutes. You're running down a corridor. The doctor's behind you, screaming. And ahead, where the asylum's north wall should be, there's a door that wasn't there before. The map clings to your fingers like a second skin as you sprint down the corridor. Dr. Lennox's screams fading behind you. Flickering gas lamps warp the walls into undulating ribs, the asylum breathing around you. 23 degrees, 47 minutes. Elias's whispered coordinates loop in your skull, syncing with your footfalls. The map's ink bleeds through the paper, staining your palm black. Ahead, the north wall looms, solid brick, stained with decades of grime. But as you skid to a halt, the mortar twitches. A hairline crack splits the surface, widening like a yawn. Stones grind, shedding dust as a door peels itself into existence. Not a door, a wound. Its edges pulse raw and meat red, the knob a glistening cartilage lump. You glance at the map. The illustration now shows your hand reaching for the knob, the paper whispering, "Hurry, hurry, hurry." The door opens before you touch it. Cold slaps your face. You're in a cell block, but wrong. The ceilings stretch too high, swallowed by shadows that drip onto iron-barred cells. No patients. Only mannequins slumped on cots, their plaster faces cracked into silent screams. At the far end, a sliver of light throbs under a door. Scritch, scritch, scritch. Charcoal scraping paper. The sound hooks your ribs, dragging you forward. Your shadow leaps jagged on the walls, as if something else moves beneath your silhouette. The mannequins turn their heads as you pass, hollow eyes tracking you. "He's almost finished the compass," hisses one, its voice a record played backward. You freeze. "Don't let him triangulate your heartbeat," rasps another, jaw unhinging. The map in your hand sears like dry ice. Unfolding it, you gasp. New lines have appeared, your path through this nightmare drawn in real time, including the mannequin's warning. At the bottom, Elias has scribbled, "Turn around." You do. The corridor behind you is gone. A brick wall stands inches from your nose, wet and breathing. Trapped. The mannequins cackle, a sound like shattering porcelain. The scratching ahead grows frenzied. You burst into the light, a cell converted into a studio. Elias Voss kneels on the floor, shirtless, his spine protruding like knotted rope. Flickering candles paint his twitching shadow across walls papered with maps. His right hand claws a charcoal stub across the floorboards, etching a sprawling landscape. His left hand, oh God, his left hand digs into his own thigh, fingers buried to the knuckle in flesh, using his blood as ink. Blood root north, he wheezes, dragging the charcoal. Ash east, veil west, scream south. The map depicts a starved forest, trees bent into ruins. A hill at the center oozes black sludge, labeled Convergence. But as you watch, the drawing moves. Branches creak upward on the paper, roots knotting around your sketched likeness at the cell's threshold. Elias's head snaps toward you. His eyes aren't black now, they're gone. Hollow sockets crawl with centipede legs, clicking in Morse code. "You're late," he says, voice layered with 100 whispers. You stagger back. The door slams shut, melting into the wall. Elias resumes drawing, blood pooling around his knees. "They told you I'm mad." He laughs, centipedes spilling from his throat. But madness is just seeing the strings. His charcoal snaps. He plunges the jagged end into his forearm, twisting. This place is a knot. Blood arcs across the room, spattering your shoes. My maps pick it apart. They don't like that. Who? You try to ask. The word dies as the maps on the walls peel outward, becoming tunnels. Cold air gushes from the paper, reeking of wet soil and copper. Shapes move in the drawn depths, skeletal, many-jointed. Elias lurches upright, swaying. The guard took a map, followed it to the boiler room. They showed him the true furnace. He grips your collar, centipedes cascading onto your shirt. You'll go deeper. You'll see. His bloody finger smears a symbol on your forehead. The room spins. When your vision clears, Elias is drawing again. A new map. Your face stares back from the paper, mouth sewn shut with inked thread. Behind you, the asylum burns. No, not burns. Unfurls. Walls peeling open like flower petals, revealing a cyclopean city of black spires. The doctor thinks he's in control, Elias spits. But the night nurse, she knows. He nods at the door. A silhouette fills the frosted window, a woman's hunched outline, her neck bent at an impossible angle. Keys jingle. Don't let her in, Elias breathes. She's been dead since Tuesday. The lock clicks. The map in your hand bursts into flames. Elias shrieks, clawing at his own face as the centipedes combust. Wrong door! Wrong door! Smoke chokes the room. You crash through the window, glass shredding your sleeves. The corridor outside is now a tilting funhouse of doors. Some wood, some flesh, some barred with human bones. The map's ashes swirl around you, coalescing into an arrow pointing left. Somewhere behind, the dead nurse's knuckles pop, pop, pop against each door in turn. Little rabbit, she croons, voice syrup thick. Let me map your marrow. You run. The dead nurse's laughter licks at your heels as you dive through a half-open door. A staff lounge frozen in time. A chipped teacup steams on a desk. A woolen shawl drapes over a chair, still warm. And there, beneath a rusted typewriter, a leather-bound journal bulges with folded pages. The cover reads, M. Halstead, head nurse, in faded gold. You barricade the door with a filing cabinet just as skeletal fingers tap, tap, tap the wood. I've always loved hide and seek, croons the nurse. The journal falls open to an entry dated September 9th, 1920. Patient 37, Voss, arrived today. Sedated after biting orderly's thumb clean off. Claims he saw the man's future funeral and needed to correct the timeline. Delusions of grandeur, but Dr. Lennox is fascinated. Ordered double rations to keep Voss strong for cognitive testing. Fools. You don't feed strays unless you want them to stay. A pressed flower crumbles from the pages. Nightshade, its petals edged in black. The next entry stinks of bourbon. October 31st, 1920. Voss drew a map of the staff quarters. Marked my bedroom with a red X. Laughed when I confronted him. That's not your room, he said. That's where you'll become. Tonight, I heard scratching inside my walls. Found this journal's margins filled with his handwriting. Turned 3 times counterclockwise before bed. They watched through the keyhole. The words squirm under your gaze. Nurse Halstead's script degrades entry by entry. November 15th. Voss's new map shows the asylum surrounded by tentacles. Ordered him to destroy it. He smiled. Too late. They've already tasted our coordinates. That night, Orderly Jenkins swore he saw something in the West Hall, a ripple in the air. Jenkins vanished this morning, his uniform found inside out, seams split like something hatched. A Polaroid slips loose. Nurse Halstead, young and stern, standing beside Elias's bed. His wrists are strapped, but his fingers spider across the mattress, tracing invisible lines. The photo's edge is singed. Written beneath. He draws in his sleep. The walls bleed where he touches them. Thud. The door shudders. Splinters crack around the hinges. You flip to December 24th, 1920. Lennox is mad, keeps Voss up for days, forcing him to map the other layers. Last night, Voss grabbed the doctor's tie and yanked him close. "You're a stitch holding reality together?" he hissed. "Snip you, and everything unravels." Lennox laughed. I didn't, because Voss's eyes, they weren't human anymore. Pupils split into fractals. Later, I found a new map under my pillow. It shows the asylum overgrown with fleshy vines, patients dangling like fruit. My own face is there too, ripe and bursting. The next pages are torn. Only fragments remain. Can't trust the walls. Jenkins came back, but his skin. Lennox won't stop the experiments. A final entry, scrawled in what looks like charcoal and blood. January 13th, 1921. I took a map, the one Voss calls Silent Highway, followed its path to the storage cellar. Door wasn't there yesterday. Inside, a tunnel. Air so thick I tasted rot. Something moved in the dark. Not rats, not spiders. Something that folded. I ran. Now I see them everywhere. The watchers. Voss was right. They're in the corners, the cracks, the space between breaths. Lennox says I'm hysterical. But tonight, I'll use Voss's map again. I'll find where the tunnel leads. The entry ends mid-sentence. Behind you, glass shatters. The teacup is tipped over, liquid pooling into a perfect circle. Letters rise to the surface in the tea leaves. Look up. You do. The ceiling swims with phantom ink, another of Elias's maps, glowing faintly. It charts the lounge as the center of a spiral, corridors twisting into impossible geometries. A red X marks your current position. Beneath it, Elias's handwriting floats. She's in the walls. Crunch. You spin. Nurse Halstead's journal lies open, its spine split. Dozens of hairline cracks spread across the floor, forming a perfect triangle. From the cracks, black liquid oozes, not blood. Something older, something hungry. The door explodes. The dead nurse stands framed in splinters out, her neck bent so her chin rests between her shoulder blades. Found you, she gurgles, joints popping as she steps forward. Now, let's document your insides. You grab the journal and leap through the window, into a hallway that shouldn't exist. Plush red carpet, crystal chandeliers, a grandfather clock ticking backward. The journal vibrates in your hands. You flip to Halstead's last entry. Fresh words appear in her handwriting, ink pooling like tears. He's making you a map. Don't trust it. Don't trust yourself. The watchers get in through the sentence stops. Blood seeps from the page, forming a new line. Too late. She's here. The carpet rots beneath your feet. The hallway reverts to decay. The chandeliers now nooses swaying in a draft. The journal's pages fuse together, sealed with a black resin that reeks of Elias's cell. A cold hand caresses your cheek from behind. Shh, whispers the dead nurse, her breath a maggot-filled breeze. This will be a masterpiece. The dead nurse's fingers dig into your shoulders, her nails peeling back your collar like the skin of a fruit. But as she spins you around, the hallway dissolves. You're kneeling in a morgue, cold steel against your palms. The air reeks of formaldehyde and burnt hair. A corpse lies on the slab before you, a night guard, his uniform crisp, face frozen in a rictus of terror. His left hand clutches a crumpled map, Elias's map. You pry it free. The paper hums, transferring the guard's final moments into your veins like a syringe. Flash. You're him now. Officer Danforth, 1921, patrolling Willowbrook's East Wing. The pocket watch in your vest ticks too fast. You found this map tucked into your locker, your name scrawled at the top. Follow the red line. See what they've buried. The route snakes through the asylum's underbelly, ending at a room labeled The Cure. Idiot. you mutter, but your feet carry you anyway. Down service stairs. Past the boiler room, its iron door radiating heat. The map's red line glows faintly, pulling you toward a storage closet. Inside, brooms and mops lean against a wall. The map pulses. You kick the wall. Plaster cracks. A hidden door swings inward, exhaling air that smells of wet stones and lilacs? Your lantern reveals a tunnel. The walls are wrong, smooth, almost glassy, like the inside of a giant bone. The map trembles in your grip. The red line now branches into 3, each path labeled past, present, future. Lunatic scribbles, you snap, but your voice wavers. The tunnel forks ahead. You choose present. The walls close in. Your lantern dims. Something skitters past your ankle, a centipede with a human face. Elias's face. It hisses, wrong choice, before scuttling into the dark. The tunnel ends at a rusted door. The map's label has changed. The cure now reads the curse. You turn the handle. Flash. You're back in the morgue, gasping. The guard's corpse stares at you, his jaw creaking open. A centipede crawls out, dragging a slip of paper. Unfolding it reveals a smudged diary entry. November 2nd, 1921. Danforth missed his shift, found his lantern in the east wing, bulb shattered. Strange, the glass was inside the casing, like it broke outward. No blood. No body, just a smell, sweet and rotten like flowers left in a coffin. Nurse Halstead's journal. The morgue's lights flicker. When they steady, the corpse is gone. Only his hat remains, crown dented, a fresh map tucked inside. This one's dated yesterday. You unfold it. The asylum's layout shifts under your gaze, corridors slithering into new configurations. A pulsing red X marks the morgue. Below it, Elias's script. He's still here, walking the loop. Break it. A cold breath ruffles your hair. Help me, whispers Danforth's voice. You turn. The guard's corpse stands in the doorway, skin gray and sagging. His eyes are sewn shut with black thread. I followed the map, he moans, shuffling closer. But the room, it wasn't a room. It was a mouth. He unbuttons his shirt. His ribcage is gone. In its place, a hollow cavity veined with glowing fungi. At the center, a tiny door, an exact replica of the one in Elias's tunnel drawing. They're inside me, Danforth rasps. The Watchers. I can feel them, mapping my bones. He lurches forward, hands clawing. You dodge, but his fingernails graze your wrist. The skin bubbles, forming blisters that spell run in Braille. The map in your hand ignites, flames cold and blue. It doesn't burn, it melts, reforming into a new page. The morgue's autopsy table. Your body splayed atop it. Danforth stands over you, scalpel in hand, while shadowy figures with too many limbs watch from the corners. Join the survey, Danforth gurgles, his voice splintering. We'll chart the depths together. You bolt. The corridor outside stretches infinitely, doors slamming shut as you pass. Danforth's footsteps echo, gaining speed. Don't you want to see? He shrieks. The garden he drew? The roots that drink time? Ahead, a door marked boiler room glows red hot. The map's ashes swirl, urging you inside. The heat slams into you like a wall. Riveted iron pipes line the chamber, hissing steam. In the center, a massive furnace pulses like a heart, its iron door etched with the same symbol from Elias's maps. Danforth staggers in behind you. This is where he changed me, he weeps, fungal veins spreading up his neck. The doctor's orders burn the evidence. But the fire, it wasn't fire. He swings the furnace door open. Inside, no flames, only a void, a starless black that writhes. Tendrils shoot out, wrapping Danforth's limbs. No, not again! Not egg! The void yanks him in. The door slams shut. Silence. Then, a knock from inside the furnace. Knock, knock, knock. The map's final scrap flutters to your feet. It shows you here now with a single instruction. Open it. See what he saw. The furnace door trembles. Something scratches at the iron from within, carving Elias's name. The furnace door yawns wide, and the void within exhales. A breath that freezes your eyelashes and fills your lungs with the static hum of a radio between stations. Inside, Danforth's voice spirals, distant and warped. They're not stars, they're eyes. You slam the door shut. The iron sears your palm, branding it with the same symbol etched on Elias's maps. The furnace's growl deepens, rattling pipes until steam vents scream like dying animals. A hand yanks you backward. Doctor, Lennox stands wild-eyed, his lab coat singed, hair jutting in ash-stiffened spikes. You've seen it now, haven't you? He rasps. The frequency beneath reality, the grid he maps. His pupils are pinpricks, darting as if tracking invisible flies. He drags you through a service elevator, its grate screeching shut. They called me a quack, he snarls, jabbing the basement button. But I'll prove them wrong. I'll harness it. The elevator drops too fast, your stomach lurching into your throat. The basement is a cathedral of madness. Work tables sag under bizarre instruments, a sextant fused with human vertebrae, a telescope lens smeared with vitreous humor. Walls papered with Elias's maps shudder as if breathing. At the room's heart, a massive orrery spins, its planets replaced by preserved organs threaded on copper wire. The doctor's been busy, you mutter. Lennox whirls, gripping your face. You think this is my work? He laughs, spittle flecking his lips. These are gifts, blueprints from them. He gestures to a map titled Axis of Unseen Flesh. Elias is just the conduit. The real cartographers are older, hungrier. He strides to a chalkboard scrawled with equations, half erased by frantic hands. Time isn't linear, he says. It's a membrane. Poke enough holes. He stabs a finger at a diagram of the asylum, pierced by dozens of pins connected by string. And the things on the other side. Slip through. A whimper slices the silence. In a cage of iron rebar, a man in orderly's garb huddles, skin mottled with luminous fungi. Please, he croaks. The doctor made me walk the tunnels. His fingers clutch the bars, leaving smears of black fluid. I saw cities made of screams. Quiet, Subject 14. Lennox kicks the cage. The man retches, expelling a centipede that scuttles into shadow. Volunteers, the doctor scoffs, so ungrateful for enlightenment. He pulls a lever. The orrery whirs faster, organs swelling and deflating like bellows. The maps peel off the walls, floating midair. Lennox grabs your wrist, pressing it against the map of the basement. Watch, he breathes. The paper absorbs your blood, ink rearranging into a live feed. You and Lennox, seen from above. The perspective zooms out, revealing the asylum as a pulsing node in a web of glowing veins. Further out, a colossal shape looms, a leviathan of shadow and geometry, its tendrils hooked into the building's foundation. The cartographer, whispers Lennox, reverent. Elias calls it the silent surveyor. It's been mapping our world since the first human drew a line in the dirt. And now, he grins, I've found its language. He flips a switch. The orrery's organs rupture, spraying fluids that sizzle into smoke. The air thickens, pressing against your eardrums. Above, the ceiling becomes a lens, refracting light into a prism of impossible colors. Look, Lennox shrieks. The prism focuses, projecting a grid of light onto the floor, a three-dimensional map of intersecting planes. Within the grid, things move. Humanoid, but jointed all wrong, their limbs folding like origami. One turns. Its face is a spinning compass rose, needles twitching toward you. They're here! Lennox dances through the grid, arms outstretched. Do you see? I've triangulated their dimension. The orderly in the cage howls. Close it, before they... A tendril of light whips out, spearing his chest. He convulses as the beam retracts, pulling a glowing orb from his ribs, his soul mapped in pulsing topography. The grid brightens, the being's movements frantic, hungry. Lennox doesn't notice. He's scribbling notes, laughing. Yes, yes, the human soul as cartographic fuel. You grab a fire axe and smash the orrery. Gears explode. The grid flickers. The beings hiss, their forms fraying at the edges. No! Lennox tackles you. His strength is inhuman, fingers cracking your collarbone. You've ruined decades of work. The prism shatters. Shards embed in the walls, each reflecting a different nightmare. A patient's head blooming into a map, a nurse's scream crystallizing into a labyrinth. Lennox straddles you, hands vise locked on your throat. I'll recalibrate you, he spits. Use your spine as a compass needle. A shard of prism impales his shoulder. He howls, rolling off you. The basement door hangs open, Nurse Halstead's journal levitating in the threshold. Its pages fan, stopping at a blood-smeared entry. Lennox's experiments are breaches. Every pin in his map, a stitch undone. He doesn't realize the surveyor isn't teaching him, it's infesting him. The doctor claws at the shard, his skin splitting into papery layers, maps of his own musculature. Lies, he screeches. I'm evolving. The journal slams shut. The door locks. The grid reignites, brighter. The beings pour through, folding into three-dimensional space. One grips Lennox's head, its needle fingers piercing his temples. Wait, he screams. I'm your ally. I'm your. His voice digitizes, breaking into garbled syllables. The beings dissolve him, layer by layer, each scream a new contour on their growing map. You crawl to the cage. The orderly's corpse holds a key made of bone. As you unlock the door, the journal tugs your arm. Nurse Halstead's ghostly script floats in the air. Run. He's part of the grid now. You flee up the stairs. Behind, the basement's walls collapse into pure geometry. Angles that cut, curves that swallow. Lennox's final wail hangs in the air, a fading coordinate, 29.9792 degrees N, 31.1342 degrees E. The Giza Plateau. The asylum shakes, stone tears like paper. You don't look back, but you feel it. The doctor's eyes now reduced to ley lines, tracking your every step. The stairwell collapses behind you in a roar of splintered wood and groaning metal. You spill into the asylum's derelict library, shelves toppled, books splayed like dead birds. The map in your hand, the one Elias drew of your hometown, burns cold against your palm. Unfolding it, you gasp. The ink has reconfigured, now charting the library's wreckage in real time. A pulsing red line leads to the fireplace, its mantle cracked diagonally. Above it, Elias's handwriting bleeds through. Knock 3 times where the world's thin. You obey. The third knock echoes too long, too deep, as if striking a hollow planet. The fireplace grinds sideways, revealing a spiral staircase choked with cobwebs. The air that gusts up isn't stale. It's alive, reeking of wet fur and spoiled milk. The steps creak underfoot, each groan answered by a wet shuffling from below. Halfway down, the walls change. No longer brick, but striated flesh veined with bioluminescent fungi. The map trembles, its edges curling inward as if afraid. You train your lantern ahead. The beam dies after 3 feet, smothered by a darkness that swallows. This is the path Danforth took, you realize aloud, voice absorbed by the meaty walls. Not path, hisses a voice like steam escaping a corpse. Lure. The stairs end. You're in a tunnel straight from Elias's most deranged sketches, walls ribbed with cartilage, ceiling sagging with mucous membranes. The floor squelches, each step sinking to the ankle. Your map glows now, Elias's lines mirroring every twist and bulge. But there's something new. A cluster of black X's littering the margins. You touch one. The X moves, skittering sideways as a chitinous leg pierces the paper. A centipede the size of your forearm erupts from the map, mandibles snapping. You crush it underfoot. It bursts into a cloud of spores that taste of burnt hair. Turn back, wheezes a voice ahead. A figure slumps against the wall, orderly Hendricks, or what's left of him. His torso is hollowed out, ribs splayed into a fleshy canopy. Fungal tendrils root him to the tunnel floor, pumping black fluid into his veins. The doctor sent me down here after Danforth, he gurgles. The maps, their seeds, grew into this. He gestures weakly at the pulsating walls. Voss tried to warn us, said the surveyor plants its cartography. You kneel. How do I get out? Hendricks laughs, blood bubbling at his lips. Out. You're inside the map now. Only way is deeper. His hand flops toward a mucus-curtained archway. That's where it's growing, the convergence. The lantern dies. In the blackness, the walls begin to sing, a choir of droning tones that vibrate your molars. The map in your hand squirms, etching new paths in real time as the tunnel reshapes itself. You stumble forward, guided by touch. The mucous membrane clings to your face, peeling away to reveal a cathedral of meat. The chamber's vaulted ceiling drips with amniotic fluid. Pillars of fused bone spiral upward, each studded with human eyes that track your movement. At the room's center, a pool of black liquid churns, its surface reflecting constellations that writhe like snakes. Elias's maps paper the walls, but these are alive, their roads slithering, their forests breathing. "Welcome to the garden," croons a voice. Elias Voss stands waist-deep in the pool, his skin translucent, veins mapping his body in glowing blue lines. "You've seen the roots," he says, beckoning. "Now see the fruit." He plunges his hands into the liquid and pulls. A corpse surfaces. Danforth, his fungal veins bloomed into a lattice of glowing roots. Then another. Nurse Halstead, her neck now a spiraling stem. Dozens more follow, each body grotesquely fused with flora and architecture. One man's head has become a cracked bell, clapper swinging in his throat. A woman's arms branch into iron railings. "The surveyor's masterpiece," Elias says, tenderly stroking Danforth's root-knotted face. "A map made of flesh." The pool ripples. Something vast moves beneath the bodies. Elias's smile splits into a fractal. It wants to meet you. To trace you. The map in your hand bursts into flames, searing a single word into your retinas. Run. You sprint blindly, the cathedral's walls screeching as they contort. The eyes on the pillars weep black tears that hiss where they land. Behind, the pool overflows, its liquid birthing grasping hands that claw the floor. Ahead, a fissure splits the wall, a tight crawl space lined with teeth. No choice. You dive in. The teeth graze your back, drawing blood. The tunnel narrows, compressing your ribs. Something grabs your ankle. "Stay," Elias whispers from everywhere and nowhere. "Become legend." You kick free, emerging into a stone corridor. The asylum's familiar decay returns. Mold, rust, rot. But the air remains thick, aware. Glancing back, the crawl space has sealed. Only a map remains, wedged in a crack. Unfolding it reveals your journey thus far, each step annotated in Elias's hand. At the bottom, a new addition. You're almost there, the heart of the maze, the first wrong turn. A thunderous boom shakes the asylum. Somewhere, deep below, the surveyor roars. The map's ink bleeds as you sprint down the corridor, the asylum's stone walls sweating a viscous fluid that reeks of burnt sugar. Your breath hitches, the air thickens, resisting each gasp. The floor undulates beneath your feet, tiles warping into sinewy ridges. Behind you, the boom crescendos into a metallic shriek, as if the building itself is being peeled open. A whisper brushes your ear. "Left here," murmurs Nurse Halstead's voice, sweet and rotten. You skid left. The hallway kinks like a broken spine, depositing you into a narrow passage where the walls press close enough to graze your shoulders. The map trembles, its lines fraying into static. Elias's handwriting flickers. They're singing the walls alive. You hear it now, a low, resonant hum vibrating through the stone. Not one voice, thousands. The cadence is familiar, a warped rendition of a nursery rhyme. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. The chorus swells, harmonizing in tongues you've heard here. Dr. Lennox's manic laughter, Danforth's final scream, Elias's fractal whispers. The walls blister, mouths forming in the mortar, lips glistening with black saliva. They chant in unison. The surveyor's hand, the surveyor's eye, map the flesh and hang the sky. You run, but the corridor stretches, elongating like taffy. The ceiling dips, forcing you to crawl. A mouth opens in the floor beneath you. Lost little cartographer, it coos in your own voice. Shall I navigate you? The map ignites in your hand, charring a new path into existence. You follow, knees bleeding, toward a rusted door marked maintenance. The voices rise to a deafening drone. The door handle melts at your touch, reforming into a knucklebone. Inside, the room is a hive of pulsating pipes. The walls are papered with asylum intake photos, except every face is yours, your eyes wide with terror, your mouth sewn shut with thread. Above them, Elias has scrawled, "All roads lead to you." A pipe bursts, spraying steam that coalesces into a figure. Dr. Lennox, or a ghost of him. His body is a living topo map, contours shifting with each word. "The labyrinth isn't around you," he gurgles, rivers of ink flowing from his ears. "It's within. The surveyor mapped your synapses years ago." He lunges, but you duck, crashing into a shelf of tinned food. The cans roll, labels peeling to reveal Elias's symbols. One tin splits open, spilling centipedes that swarm your ankles. You stomp, their bodies crunching into black dust that swirls into a new message midair. Follow the silence. The room's clamor dies. Even your breath goes mute. Pressure builds in your skull as an absence slithers past, something vast and unspoken, trailing frost in its wake. You move toward the cold, the map disintegrating in your grip, its remnants guiding you like breadcrumbs. The silence leads you to a drainage grate. Below, a chasm yawns, its depths flickering with bioluminescent fungi. A rope ladder sways, rungs tied from human hair. The voices return, frantic. Don't, Nurse Halstead. Jump, become, Dr. Lennox. You descend. The chasm's walls are a mosaic of patient bones, each engraved with coordinates. A femur reads 29.9792 degrees N. A skull, 31.134 degrees E. The Giza numbers. The deeper you climb, the warmer the air grows, until you're swimming through humidity that coats your tongue with the taste of old blood. The ladder ends. You stand in a circular chamber, its domed ceiling etched with constellations that move, stars squirming like maggots. At the center lies a stone table, its surface carved with the surveyor's symbol, a spiral devouring itself. Arranged around it, a compass of human teeth, a jar of liquid eyes, and Elias's final drawing. The drawing is a self-portrait. He lies on the table, chest split open, ribs folded outward like a spider's legs. From his heart grows a tree whose roots pierce the earth, branches knitting into the asylum's walls. Beneath it, his final note: the only way out is through. A wet click echoes above. You look up, the constellations still, the stars blink, their eyes. The chamber inhales, air rushing into the stone table's spiral. The tools rattle, the compass needle spins, pointing at you. Elias's drawing levitates, pressing into your chest. Yes, hisses the surveyor's voice through 1,000 starry throats. Assume the position. The ladder retracts, the walls close in, and the real nightmare begins. The chamber's walls press closer, stone grinding like molars. The constellations above pulse, their starry eyes dilating in unison. You stagger toward the stone table, Elias's self-portrait still clutched to your chest. The paper thrums, whispering secrets in a language that prickles your spine. As the spiral carved into the table begins to glow, a drawer slides open in its base, a hidden compartment filled with yellowed letters bound in human hair. Read us, hiss the walls. The first letter crumbles at your touch, its script frantic. March 12, 1920. They're calling me patient 14 now. I followed the map Elias left in the dining hall, a path through the orchard. The trees, they weren't trees, they were people. Roots knotted through their jaws. I tried to run, but the ground opened. It tasted like meat. They say I was gone 3 days. I don't remember, but my shoes filled with black petals. J. Turner, groundskeeper. The ink squirms. The chamber dissolves. Flash. You're Turner, 1920, trampling through dead grass under a moon that drips like wax. Elias's map glows in your hands, leading to a gnarled oak. Its bark peels back, revealing a tunnel lined with teeth. You crawl inside. The walls ripple. Something brushes your neck, a root, a finger. You scream, but the dirt fills your mouth, sweet and coppery. When you wake in the asylum, your pockets are full of teeth. Not yours. Snap. You're back in the chamber, gasping. The second letter levitates, unfolding itself. November 8th, 1921. Dr. Lennox made me clean Elias's cell. Found a map under his bed. My hometown. My house. It showed my mother's grave in our backyard, but she's alive. I laughed. Then I visited her last Sunday. There was a mound behind the shed. Fresh. I didn't dig. I won't dig. M. Clark Nursio. The moment you finish reading, the chamber floor softens. You sink to your knees in loamy soil. A shovel materializes in your grip. From the earth beneath, a muffled voice pleads, "Martha? Baby, is that you?" You drop the shovel. The soil hardens back to stone. The third letter drifts into your lap, sealed with a smudge of dried blood. Undated. They think I'm mad, but I saw Elias doesn't draw maps. He unwrites them. Peel back the roads, the rivers, the lies, and there she is. The surveyor. Her face is 1,000 folding cities. She wants to trace me. I'll let her. Better than this rotting cage. Patient 22. The signature disintegrates, replaced by Elias's handwriting. He volunteered, became a landmark. A cold wind gusts. The chamber's temperature plummets. Frost crawls up the walls, crystallizing into a new landscape. A frozen plain where patient 22 stands, arms outstretched. The surveyor's tendrils pierce him, stretching his skin into a living map. His scream freezes in the air, shattering into shards that form latitude lines. The fourth letter requires blood to open. You slice your palm. When did you get a knife? Smearing the page. September 9th, 1923. Lennox is using us as pins in his machine. Strapped me down, forced me to stare at Elias's maps. I see them now, the roads behind the roads. They're made of singing flesh. One leads to my childhood home. I'll walk it tonight. If you find this, tell my sister I'm not afraid. Tell her I'll knock twice. R. Byrne, orderly. The chamber's far wall cracks open, revealing a corridor paved with human molars. At its end, a door framed by ribcage arches glows with hearthlight. From beyond, a woman's voice sobs, "Robert, come home, please." You step toward it. "Don't," whispers Byrne's voice as a spectral hand grips your shoulder. It's a trap. She's been dead 20 years. The door creaks ajar. Inside, a faceless figure rocks in a chair, knitting with yarn made of hair. "You're late," it says, needles clicking. "Sit. Let me measure you." You slam the door. The corridor collapses. The final letter is written on Elias's skin, a pale scrap clutched in the stone table's spiral. They warned you about the maps, but not the spaces between. The silence where the surveyor sleeps. Find it. Let it taste your fear. Only then will the door home appear. But beware. Evos. The rest is torn away. The chamber convulses. The stone table splits, disgorging a geyser of black liquid. From the depths rises a figure. Byrne, his body a patchwork of stitched maps. "Too late," he gurgles, lunging. "You're already pinned." You dodge, but his hand grazes your arm. The contact burns, etching a glowing symbol onto your skin, the surveyor's mark. Byrne collapses, his paper flesh dissolving into ash. The chamber ceiling cracks, starry eyes raining down like tears. They cling to your clothes, your hair, burrowing. A path lights up on the floor, a glowing trail through the collapsing chamber. You follow, eyes squeezed shut against the stinging dark. The symbols on your arm pull, guiding you to a crevice too narrow to fit. "Through," Elias's voice insists. You exhale, ribs cracking as you squeeze into the fissure. The stone grinds, flaying skin, but you push into a crypt. The walls are lined with patient skeletons, each holding a map over their heart. At the room's center, an altar drips with wax from melted black candles. Scattered bones form a half-completed circle. Elias's final ritual. A shadow detaches from the wall. Nurse Halstead, her neck finally snapped, jaw unhinged. "He almost finished," she croaks, gesturing to the altar. But the doctor interrupted. "Now you must complete it." She tosses you a bone dagger. The surveyor's mark on your arm aches, pointing to your chest. The bone dagger thrums in your grip, its edge serrated with tiny human teeth. Nurse Halstead's corpse retreats into the shadows, her final words a rasp, "Cut where it aches." The surveyor's mark on your arm pulses, tendrils of pain branching toward your heart. The altar is a tableau of interrupted horror. Shattered femurs and skull fragments litter the floor, arranged in a spiral that frays at the edges. Melted black candles pool like tar, their wax frozen mid-drip into spindly fingers grasping upward. At the center, a clay bowl holds a congealed mixture, blood, bone ash, and strands of Elias's hair. You step closer. The crypt's air vibrates with a suspended cord, a sound that existed before language. The patient's skeletons lining the walls rattle, their bony fingers pointing accusingly at the altar. One skull rolls forward, jaw clacking. Don't. But the mark on your arm demands. You dip the dagger into the bowl. The mixture hisses, coating the blade in a viscous glow. Elias's voice whispers through the crypt's vents, "Finish the circle, let them through." As you kneel to place the first bone, the vision hits. Flash. Elias, gaunt and feverish, arranges the final tibia. Dr. Lennox bursts in, revolver drawn. "You're destroying us," he screams. Elias smiles. "No." Elevating, he slams his palm onto the altar. The bones levitate. The candles roar into black flames. Lennox fires. The bullet passes through Elias's chest and strikes the air behind him. A crack splits reality, oozing a light that burns. Lennox shrieks as his skin peels into parchment, his screams inking themselves onto the walls. Elias reaches into the crack, whispering, "Take me." Snap. You're back, trembling. The altar's edge bears a bullet hole, tendrils of black mold spiraling from it. The crypt's temperature plummets. Your breath fogs, crystallizing into tiny maps that flutter to the floor. "Do it," hisses Nurse Halstead from the dark. You place the first bone. The ground shudders. The skeletons along the walls disintegrate, their dust funneling into the ritual circle. The melted candles reignite, flames twisting into miniature tornadoes. A pressure builds in your sinuses, wet and insistent. You slot another bone into place. Stop. Dr. Lennox's specter materializes, his body a living autopsy, muscle peeled back to reveal organs mapped with glowing runes. "He wanted to merge us with them," he pleads, pointing to the crack in the air above the altar. "You'll doom us all." You hesitate. The surveyor's mark on your arm burns, searing through doubt. "He's lying," Elias's voice counters. The good doctor fears becoming obsolete. Lennox lunges. His spectral hand passes through your chest, freezing your lungs. "They'll turn you into a road sign." He chokes. "A marker for travelers you can't comprehend." You plunge the dagger into the altar. The crypt detonates in silence. Lennox's specter shatters. The bone circle completes itself, levitating into a spinning ring. The crack above the altar widens, vomiting a kaleidoscope of impossible geometries. Euclidean angles birthing non-Euclidean horrors. A tendril of iridescent smoke snakes out, caressing your cheek. "Yes!" hisses the surveyor, its voice a collapsing star. "Anchor the gate." The skeleton's maps flutter into the void, stitching themselves into a bridge. Elias's final drawing peels off the wall, the self-portrait of his chest split open. It slaps onto your torso, fusing with your skin. Your ribs ache, joints popping as they twist outward, forming a cage of bone. "No!" Nurse Halstead shrieks, lunging. "You'll unfold us all!" Too late. The ritual's gravity pins you as the surveyor's presence floods through the crack. Its form is a migraine-given shape, a trillion eyes, a writhing lattice of streets that go nowhere, everywhere. The crypt dissolves. The asylum dissolves. You float in a void between grids, the surveyor's tendrils weaving through your ribcage, charting you. "Almost." Elias's voice sighs. A flash of resistance, the human part of you, clawing through the cosmic haze. You grab the dagger, still embedded in the altar, and pull. The blade slices through the bone circle. The void screams. The surveyor's tendrils recoil, snapping like elastic. The crack implodes, sucking the altar's debris into a singularity. You're thrown backward, ribs snapping as you collide with the crypt wall. Nurse Halstead's corpse shields you from the collapsing void, her body unraveling into a map of the asylum's final moments. Silence. The crypt is ruins. The altar, a smoldering crater. Your ribs ache, but the surveyor's mark has faded to a scar. In the center of the crater lies a single bone, inscribed with coordinates. 29.9792 degrees N, 31.134 degrees E. Giza. Elias's laughter echoes fading. You think you won? You just delayed the survey. A cold wind gusts through the crypt. Somewhere, a door creaks open. A real door, wood and iron. Sunlight bleeds through. You crawl toward it. Behind, the crypt's remains whisper. "We'll find you. We map the lost." Sunlight stings your eyes as you collapse onto overgrown grass, the asylum silhouette crumbling behind you. The coordinates etched into your arm throb. 29.9792 degrees N, 31.1342 degrees E, but the world spins too fast to focus. You pass out clutching the bone dagger, its teeth nibbling your palm even in dreams. October 31st, 2002. Dude, this is it! Tyler's camcorder pans across Willowbrook Asylum's corpse. Roof caved in, ivy strangling its brick ribs. His flashlight beam catches graffiti. Don't mark the walls. Jenna adjusts her headlamp. Creepy. Let's find the morgue. They're urban explorers, drawn here by a forum post titled Maps to Nowhere. The user, Silent Surveyor 1923, uploaded grainy photos of Elias's drawings. Jenna prints one now, the paper damp in her grip. This tunnel's supposed to be under the east wing. Look for a red X. Tyler kicks a rusted bed frame. This place is a dump. No way there's secret tunnels. Crunch. The floor collapses. They slide into a sub-basement, landing on a mattress of dead leaves. Tyler's camcorder flickers, night vision tinting the room green. Whoa. The walls are papered with maps, Elias's maps. These weren't in the photos, Jenna whispers. She touches one. The ink smears, warm and wet. Tyler zooms in on a drawing labeled Modern Paths. It shows this room. Them. A third figure looming behind. Joke's over, Jen? She's not laughing. Her finger traces a fresh red line. This leads deeper. Look, it's dated today. They follow the map, their breath fogging the air. The tunnel narrows, walls puckering like scar tissue. Jenna's headlamp dies. We should turn back, Tyler mutters. No. Jenna's voice echoes oddly. We're close. The map in her hand glows. You're with them now. Tyler's camcorder captures it all. The claw marks on the walls, the child-sized handprints in dried sludge. Jenna walks ahead, entranced, reciting Elias's coordinates. This matches the forum post, she says. The user said to follow the blood route north. They reach a rusted door. Tyler's map now pulses, its lines squirming. Jen, this isn't right. The paper's moving. She doesn't listen. The door opens to a circular chamber, stone altar, shattered bones. It's here! Jenna kneels, brushing dust from a clay bowl. The post said to mix your blood with the ash. What post? Jen, what the hell? She slices her palm, dripping blood into the bowl. It hisses. The chamber groans. Tyler's camcorder captures the moment the walls peel inward, becoming a living map. Jenna's eyes roll back. They're singing, she whispers. The roads are singing. A tendril of smoke coils from the altar, caressing her cheek. Jen! Tyler grabs her, but her skin tears like parchment, revealing muscle mapped with glowing runes. The camcorder falls, footsteps, dragging, silence. You wake in the present, the coordinates on your arm searing. Somewhere, a camcorder's dying battery whines. The footage leaks online at 3:03 a.m. Grainy, jump-cut clips of Tyler and Jenna's descent posted by Silent Surveyor 1923. Comments explode. Fake. But the map they're holding, I swear I've seen those symbols in my dreams. I printed one. My dog won't stop barking at the wall now. The X on my map moved. It's in my house now. What do I do? You watch it all from a dim cafe, the coordinates on your arm hidden under gauze. The bone dagger rests in your bag, whispering. March 15th, 2023. Reddit user Map2Nowhere posts a photo. Elias's asylum blueprint, found in their deceased grandfather's attic. The post goes viral. The wallpaper in my bedroom matches the asylum's floor plan. Help? I followed the map to a park. There's a door in a tree. Should I open it? They're watching me through the paper. The thread locks. You're in Cairo now, standing at the Giza Plateau. The coordinates lead here. The dagger hums. A tourist brushes past, her tote bag adorned with Elias's spiral symbol. Cute, right? She says. Some meme page sells them. The world swims. They're everywhere. Elias's maps surface on TikTok, Snapchat, dark web forums. Teens dare each other to follow the red line. Missing persons cases spike. A YouTube video, a boy films himself entering a tunnel under his school. Guys, the map says there's a... static. The video ends with a wet crunch. 5M views. You stand before the Great Pyramid, dagger in hand. The coordinates pulse, 29.9792 degrees N, 31.1342 E. A hidden door creaks open, sand cascading inward. Inside, a stone chamber, walls carved with the surveyor's symbol. At its center, a pedestal. On it rests a fresh map. Your face stares back, eyes wide. Behind you, the pyramid unfolds, its blocks rearranging into a spiraling city of black stone. Anchor the gate, hisses the dagger. The map's ink slithers onto your skin, merging with your scars. You hear them now, the watchers, their chittering laughter vibrating through the earth. Your phone buzzes. A notification. Silent Surveyor 1923 has posted a new map. You open it. It's your current location. In a suburban basement, a teen prints the map. Their walls bleed. In Tokyo, a salaryman pockets a crumpled page. The subway tunnels shift. In Cairo, you raise the dagger. The surveyor sings. You blink. The cafe's familiar hum returns. Espresso machines typing, a clock ticking. Normalcy clings like cobwebs, but the coordinates still itch. The dagger still whispers. You check your phone. The video of Jenna and Tyler has vanished. Only a comment remains. They're part of the map now. You will be too. Outside, a street lamp flickers. Shadows coil where light fails. A child points. "Mommy, that man's skin is glowing." You pull your sleeve down. The bus ride home feels endless. A woman across the aisle sketches furiously. Her notebook, filled with spirals, centipedes, doors. She catches your stare, smiles. Your stop arrives. Your house feels smaller, colder. You check under the floorboards. 7 steps west. Knock twice. You shouldn't. You do. Something knocks back. The dagger laughs in your bag. That night, dreams of folding cities, of Jenna, her body a living atlas, of Tyler's camcorder, still recording somewhere dark. You wake. A map sticks to your sweat-damp skin, your bedroom, your bed, your open mouth. A red X marks the closet. Inside, a whisper. "We've been waiting." You burn the map. It reforms in the ashes. At work, a coworker wears a new tattoo, Elias's spiral. Saw it online, they say. It means exploration, right? You quit. The dagger guides you back to Giza. The hidden door stands open. Inside, the pedestal awaits. You kneel. "Yes," hisses the surveyor. The world holds its breath. Your phone buzzes. Silent Surveyor 1923 is live. You click. The screen shows your own back, kneeling in the chamber. The viewers cheer. 1.2 men watching. The dagger plunges. The map unfolds. And somewhere, a child prints a new page.